Good morning. It's another beautiful morning. It's actually a really stellar morning. This is a lot warmer than it's been the last 4 or 5 days since the light switch to fall turned on. This has a real summer feeling this morning. So last time we went out, they weren't as good as we hoped. There weren't a ton of crabs, but there weren't a ton of lobsters, and the bait bags were stuffed right full. So we gave them a couple more nights, and we're hoping that's the answer. So we're gonna go out today and take a look, and hopefully they're right solid full of lobsters. And the fall rush is on, so we'll see how they look, and we'll keep you guys posted. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Billy Bob Falkenham, and this is Lobster Bros. Last time we went to haul, we stopped because the bait bags were full, and part of that is because the crabs disappeared and there didn't seem to be a lot of lobsters, so the bait was just untouched. But another reason why that might have been is maybe they just don't like these bogeys anymore. Maybe they're sick of them. So today we've decided to have another bait source. These are called redfish. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a couple of these redfish in the bag, and then we're gonna top it off with the pogies. So it's gonna be kind of a buffet like that. But these redfish have always traditionally been really good lobster bait. I've used them a lot in the past. This will be my first time using them this year. So hopefully that's the answer. Hopefully today's new buffet is what they like. So we're gonna try that today, and maybe that'll make the difference. here and I see this thing crawl across the floor like a spider. It's a little tiny invasive green crab, and he's been aboard the boat for the last 2 days with no water. Temperatures getting up to what, 60, 70 degrees, and he's just as good as he ever was, which is pretty scary. These things are not native to Maine. We're having a decline in our soft-shell clam population, and they believe a lot of it has to do with predation from these invasive crabs. There's not really much of any natural predators to them, other than maybe the stripers coming up more frequently the last few years. So hopefully that can do something about these, but we don't really know what to do about these. They seem like they're doing a number on our soft shell crabs. They're displacing other natural species, especially in the intertidal zone, and I think that really just shows you how resilient they are and how hard it's going to be to do something about these things, because this little guy right here has been aboard the boat for 2 days and he's still just crawling around no problem, which is, I mean, I'm not surprised by it because I've seen these things, I've seen how resilient they are, but it's kind of funny after you haven't been aboard your boat for 2 days to see one of these just crawl across the floor like that. He escaped the cleanup job somehow. He's kind of tiny, so he escaped the cleanup job somehow, and I just saw him crawl across the floor like a little spider. That one won't be killing any more clams. Did I mention that it's October and this weather is still just like August? We had about a week stretch of weather that seemed like the light switch had been hit for fall, but man, this is just like August weather, and I was just trying to show you guys how nice it was out here, and I don't know if it'll come across or not when I try to show how on a rough day that it's rough. It never seems to really do it any justice, taking a video of it, but it is picture perfect out here. Man, it'd be a nice day to be off here with a grill and some fishing poles. Doesn't bother me at all to be out here on a day like this. This doesn't even feel like work, really. Absolutely beautiful. What a blessing it is. Hopefully we can get a few lobsters, make the day a little bit better, but gorgeous weather out here. We're really thankful for it, and just thank the Lord for blessing us with this beautiful day. And we're going to enjoy it. We're going to enjoy it as long as it stays and keep plugging away.
Yes, praise God.
So I just picked a couple keepers out of this trap, but what I wanted to show you was these little guys. And I've been noticing I've been getting 3, 4, 5 of these every single trap. I think it's significant. That's the future of the industry right there. So the catch really does seem to be down from day to day, and I know the landings are showing that, and all the different docks are seeing less landings, but it really seems like there's a good future here in the industry because we're catching a ton of these guys, and these lobsters that have kind of made it to the sort of somewhat safe range. They've passed the egg, they've gone from being an egg near the surface to then develop into a 1-inch lobster and settling on bottom and then growing several rapid sheds. And now these lobsters are, probably like 2-year-old lobsters that have rapidly grown to this size. And then as they get bigger, they'll shed less times. These lobsters will probably shed a couple times a year for the next 5 years, 1 or 2 times a year. And by the time they reach 7 years old, they'll be keepers. But we're getting a ton of these lobsters right here. Like I said, it seems like 3, 4, 5 every trap. And I thought the crabs were gone, but we're still seeing plenty of those today. I think they made a resurgence. They seem to be gone for 1 or 2 hauls, but they're back again now. Female Jonah crabs, aka bitch crabs. So, beautiful weather. Lobsters have not necessarily struck, but it's a beautiful day. Look at the weather out here. Not hardly a ripple on the water. Looks like the future of the industry is pretty healthy. Plenty of egg-bearing females, ton of smalls, and a lot of life down there. So that's what they look like today. We're into October. Lobsters should be hitting here pretty quick. It's early. It's beginning of October, so they should be picking up as we go through the month of October. And if they don't, then they're probably not going to, but I'm holding out hope. I think they're going to. Looks like a great big one right there. This is about what these traps have been looking like. Not a lot of big ones, but oh wow. So you see that's way over. She's about 1/2, 3/4 of an inch over the oversized measure. Got a barnacle on her. That one ain't gonna bother her any, but we'll give her the old spa treatment. She's an old female. She hasn't shed in a while. You can see how black her claws are. That's an indication they haven't shed in a while. She doesn't have eggs, but we're gonna give her a V-notch to protect her. We couldn't keep this lobster here in Maine because she's oversized, but outside of us in Federal Area 3, this is Federal Area 1, in Federal Area 3 they keep bigger lobsters, so they keep lobsters this size, but in the United States those guys do have a V-notch, so they'll throw her back now. So the only place she's not going to be safe is if she goes east to Canada. And maybe someday we'll get that worked out with the Canadians and get on the same page with them, but she's protected. She's got a V-notch in her. Give her a snack. She looks all clean from barnacles. Send her back to do her thing. And this trap here, like I was saying, right full of these little lobsters. That one's got five lobsters that are all in the 2 to 3 year old range. It's a lot of future there. And then a couple that are 6, 7 years old. That one's about what they're looking like today. But they're adding up. We're sticking with it. We're adding them up. We'll make a day's pay. Pair of gloves on their first day. Made in China. I remember when they made these in the US and you could get 2-3 days out of them. These ones here don't even last a day. Located a little bit of October fishing here, so I figured just for the fun of it, we'll haul one where we measure every lobster and count them for you guys out of the trap. See how many keepers we get. right in between those bottoms on the perfect gravel bottom. They're gonna be crawling right into those ones. They're gonna be like, oh my word, is that redfish? Mixed with a little bit of pogey appetizer. Oh my word, come on guys. Crawling these ones. It's Scudic Mountain in the background. Good landmark. Mountain over Mark Island. And the ferry just about to go by Scudic Point. Well, that was a great day. It was just an outstanding day weather-wise. Beginning of October, felt like the middle of summer. Flat, calm, nice and warm. T-shirt weather all day. Decent day lobstering, I guess, under the new standards, but not what we're used to for this time of year, but I guess we're just adjusting to the new normal, and glad that the price is good. I mean, it's not outstanding, but it's okay, I guess. It's good. Everything is good. If you can go to work, earn a living, and enjoy it while you're doing it, then that's a blessing. And we did that. And another good day. Just keep racking them up. Hopefully when I look back at the end of the year, it'll all be good. Catch you on the next one.